Today, we're going to look at social media from an author's perspective. This is about learning how to use these platforms to connect with readers, build community, and create interest around your writing. We won't be able to cover everything about social media in 30 minutes. We're definitely probably going to go over the 30 minutes, but we'll try to keep it as close to that as possible. Um, Instead, we're going to focus on what we uh, can share based off of our experiences, as Serena said. Uh, we also, again, want to be upfront that we aren't social media experts. We're still learning, experimenting, and figuring out what works best for us. We hope to offer more workshops in the future as we continue to grow and learn more about navigating the ever-changing world of social media. Um, I think one of the biggest misconceptions authors have in the social media world is that we are just existing to sell books. I mean, that's true, but at least it shouldn't be the only reason you're there. I think that think about the authors you follow. Oops, I went too far. It's hard to read and click at the same time. Okay, I'm just gonna continue going. You probably didn't follow them because you saw an ad and thought, yes, I need to buy this person's book. You followed them because you liked something about them. Maybe they made you laugh. Maybe you liked their writing advice. Maybe you became curious about their characters or their world. Over time, you become familiar with that author, and that's when you start to feel invested in what they're creating. That's what we're trying to build, not just an audience, but people who actually care about the person behind the stories. And then, Serena, it's your slide,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
this one that I'm on.
Yes. So you don't have to have your entire author identity figured out on day one, but it's worth thinking about these things early. Your genre, pen name, author persona, and how much your personal life you can share will all affect your platform. Your goal isn't to lock yourself into a box forever, it's just to make intentional choices now so you're not having to untangle them later. So you want to think about it. Did you Google your pen name? Because you don't want to pick a pen name and do all of your social media work and then find out that somebody else is already writing under that name. And then are you going to create an author persona? So for me, I'm Serena Faye. That is definitely an author persona. Like I have a real name, big surprise. And Serena Faye, excuse me, is not exactly who I am in real life. Now, 90% the same, but there's definitely things about Serena Faye that are different. And I had to decide those things pretty early on. I do share some stories from my real life though, but it's curated. I definitely make sure that I select certain things. My cats, for example, are in part of Serena's Faye story as well. Um, and do you know who you want to be as a writer? What do you want to come through? I have my pastel magic, for example. That's a big part of my author brand. So if you can describe yourself as a writer, as an author, that will really help make your author brand. Okay. And so it'll save you a big headache later. So we can click.
I want to do add to that. So, like, I picked my real name because I was born, I feel like, with a built-in name. So, picking your real name also always just works too. There's nothing wrong with the pen name and there's nothing wrong with the real name. And I feel like I do add a lot of my real life into my persona.
So social media myths. There's a lot of social media advice out there, and honestly, some of it can make you feel like you're doing everything wrong. What works for one person might not work for another. Consistency is more important than posting constantly. Genuine conversation can be more valuable than 100 likes from people who never come back. And your social media doesn't have to look like a professional marketing campaign. Just to manage expectations early on, you're probably not going to become a social media millionaire overnight. But I did hear Princess made $3.
I have made $3 on my Facebook page since May. Uh, Not every reader is going to connect with you for the same reason. Someone might love your character, someone else might be fascinated by your world building, another person might just follow you because they like your personality. You don't have to choose just one thing to talk about. Give people different doors into your author world and then give them a reason to stick around. So this picture is an example of an author friend that me and Serena both have. She posts a lot of things world, and I know I met her through Facebook, and she was literally the very first person to ever follow me. And I got to know her books before they were published back in January, and I fell in love with her books. And now I have read 3 of her 6 books that she's gonna publish. The 3rd one isn't published yet, but I've gotten to know her story and fell in love with it before it was even ready, and, like, I'm obsessed with her brand because I got to know her ahead of time. So she's a good example of utilizing social media in that way. And then there's other examples of how people utilize their social media in different ways, asking questions, getting people to engage with you.
All right. So, content, content, content. When you're talking social media, you're talking content. But your page shouldn't feel like walking into a bookstore where someone immediately jumps in your face and says, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. You want to think of social media as a place where people can get to know you and your work. Sometimes you're teaching, sometimes you're sharing behind the scenes, sometimes you're making someone laugh, and yes, sometimes you're promoting your book. Promotion is important, it just shouldn't be the only reason people are coming to your page. You want to share educational, writing tips, publishing advice, helpful information for readers and your fellow writers. Share a little bit of behind the scenes, sneak peeks, research, character notes, cover designs, storytelling, personal stories. People love that. They love to see the writer behind there. Keep your author persona in mind, though, if you've created one. This is where you have to decide on that author brand early. Your entertainment, memes. I'm going to tell you some of my top viewed things have been writing memes, the relatable author humor, fun games, they're going to bring people to your page. They get a lot of interaction.
They
And then the
do.
promotion. You see on the far right there, I have the announcement of Beckett's book. If you can see it in the bottom corner, how many views I got on that particular announcement, that was a huge, huge post for me. And it was important for Beckett too. All those people saw that her book was released. Um, and you can see all these different examples of different ways that people are using their page to bring content. And it's not all just buy my book, buy my book, buy my book, but it's still showing who they are and it's still bringing people to their page. So there's lots of different ways that you can share content on your page that's not just slapping people in the face with, guess what, I'm writing a book. And it's still helping people to get to know you. Okay. So you're going to hear a lot about the different tools there are for creating social media. And this could be so much more deep dive in with another workshop, but this is just a brief overview here. You definitely don't need to use all of these. These are just a few options. Canva, which would be great for graphic and design. CapCut, really good for video editing. Adobe Express, the Instagram app itself. These are a few options. You want to find what works for you, learn it well enough to create the content you want, and don't make life harder for yourself. These are all free, and free is good. Now, here's a couple more examples of just general content posts. I believe these may have all come from Stephanie's page, but these are ones that she gets really good interactions on. So she's going to click through a couple of those.
Yes. So I do weekly or daily posts, and I have like a rotation. So I do like Momentum Mondays that, people just give me what they are going to, try to be, give me their goals for the weeks. And then I have like you know, World Building Wednesday and Snapshot or Spotlight Sundays, which I still need to do that today. Uh, Stuff like that that I get a lot of interactions on. And then I have silly ones, which I got, like, it's really hard to see on this one, but I got like 96 comments just on people talking about their sandwiches and, preference. And then part of my persona is I call all my followers my little starlets. So that's just something that I've created over the last year. Works for me. Uh, These three can get a little confusing because they all exist on Facebook, but they really serve different purposes. Your personal profile is exactly that, your personal profile. It's a space for you, your friends, and your family. Your author page is focused on you, but as an author. This is where you can find your books, announcements, and author content. And then you have your groups, which are more about bringing people together. For example, I have my personal profile, my author page, and then I created the Author Allies Guild. That's a networking group for authors, so it's not really about building a reader fandom. It's a place for writers to connect and support each other. Eventually, I plan on having a separate uh, group for my fandom, but that's further down the line.
This is my page. One of the one of the easiest ways to think about this is to ask yourself, am I trying to reach people or am I trying to interact with people? If you're announcing a new book, sharing a cover reveal, or trying to reach someone who has never heard of you, this is where your page comes in. If you're asking readers what they think about a character, starting a discussion, sharing something exclusive, or getting people to participate, that's where a group really shines. And you can absolutely use the same content in both places. You might just present it differently. For example, on your page, you might announce, my cover reveal is Friday. But in your group, you might say, okay, you guys have been waiting forever. Do you want to see the cover now? Same author, same book, completely different interaction. So a page is more of like an announcement, and the group is more of community. The group will allow natural growth. People can then start their own conversations on there. They can do behind the scenes, fan theories, polls, and it really can cement a community. The page, you're completely in control of that. You'll be posting, other people can't post in there as much. They can leave comments. And then, we've got my group here, which I haven't really done anything with, Pastel Village Adventures. Obviously, we have the writer's room, and then there's the Author Allies Guild, which is the one that Stephanie made, and it's actually quite big. There's a lot of people in that one. I post in there pretty regularly. So the groups can come later. You can start with a page and then add a group on, but they definitely serve a different purpose than a page.
Okay,
That's a good
communities
question.
aren't, oh,
We can come
sorry.
back to that. Unless Stephanie wants to address that right now, because I don't do any moderating in my group because literally it's just me and 10 other people, and I don't do anything with my group right now.
Okay, what's the specific question?
It says, how much, if any, moderating do you need to do in a group?
Well, it depends on how you want your group to be ran. So I actually do a lot of that in mine because I feel like this is kind of goes against what we're talking about here because I don't allow book promotion in my group page. Uh, because there are so many other group pages that do that. Mine is specifically for networking and getting to know authors. So if everyone is just constantly promoting only their book, getting to know the authors gets kind of lost when all you're seeing is book promotion. So I do delete those. So I feel like
No, that's
that's
okay
not
because
the greatest example for this presentation, but
No, no, that works because that actually
it's how
touches
I
on the next
utilize.
slide. That touches on the next slide though, because some groups, you have to know what group you're in. Some groups are very specific on what they're for, and you have to know what kind of group you're in. And that's kind of what the next slide is about too.
Yes, because there are so many groups out there, and you could just have so many. You can join as many groups as you want, of course. Um, Sorry, I lost my place. Communities aren't a free advertising space. If you join a group, drop your link, and disappear until your next launch, people are going to notice. Take the time to actually be part of the community. Talk to people, support other authors, build relationships. When you do have something to share, people are much more likely to pay attention because they already know who you are. So I had mentioned the Claire, who was the first person who ever started following me, and then I started reading her books. And I love her books, and I have shared her books. I do reviews, and I've shared those across, all the reviewing platforms. I've bought her books through ebooks and physical. I've handed out her books to people, and I've gotten other people to start reading her books. So, there are, not just me, another author reading her page or her books. I've, started the domino effect. So, I feel like that also continues the readership. You can also use these tools to save yourself time. You don't have to be online every day at exactly the right moment to post something. You can sit down, create several posts, and schedule them ahead of time. I actually block out time at the beginning of each month to schedule my daily posts since I have the variety of them that I rotate through, so I can get like 30 to 31 posts done in one sitting. And these are posts I already know that get interaction and engagement from my audience. Then there's the data. I don't think you need to obsess over analytics, but they're useful for spotting patterns. Maybe your audience loves your random Tuesday post, but completely ignores the beautifully planned out content you spent hours making, or maybe it's the other way around. That's good information to have. Uh, Sorry, I lost my place. Sorry. The goal isn't to spend more time managing social media, it's to set things up so social media is efficient for you. Sorry, I'm really bad at clicking these and speaking at the same time.
So Bet asked a really good question in the chat that I want to address real quick. Bet
Yes.
asked, should we do these things while writing the book or once the book is done and we're ready to make it known? My opinion is definitely the earlier you start, the better because it gets you out there and you start to build your base. I definitely believe that as soon as you know that you want to write that book and you want to put yourself out there, you should get started and start building your author brand and building yourself up.
Yes, I mean, I started writing my book back a year ago now, and I started my page about a month after I started writing it, and I have about 1,600 followers, and I don't have a book, but I know that there's lots of people out there who are ready for me to, get myself published out there, and who are the moment I, you know, have that release date, they are waiting in line to buy it. So
Yep.
you can start building that now.
I have almost 900, which would be closer to Stephanie's number. I'll address later on down the line why my number's not as high as hers. We'll get to that in a few slides. But I 100% think that you should definitely do this the sooner rather than later because it takes time to build your community. It's definitely not an overnight thing. I started in the fall of last year. So I'm approaching a year and I'm still trying to build traction in this community. It is definitely a marathon, not a sprint.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're going to look at two real examples of the professional dashboard. This is my dashboard versus Stephanie's dashboard. Spoiler alert here, Stephanie's is better. She is been more consistently and actively engaged on her Facebook page. I took a several month break from mine and I saw a huge dip in my activity. I've only recently started to build mine back up. Um, so this gives you the chance to see what they look like behind the scenes. As we look at the two dashboards, you'll notice that they can be really different, and this is normal. So our audiences do overlap a little bit, but they're not exactly the same. The content we create is different, and the way we interact with our followers is also different. But you can see what is working with your audience, what your audience responds to. So you don't want to just throw content at the wall and hope something sticks. In the beginning, it might be a little bit like that, especially while you're finding your brand and what works for you. My page has changed a lot since the beginning and probably will still evolve as I'm completely figuring myself out. I know a lot of who Serena Faye is, but it's still changing. I've recently added art to my page, and that's been a big change for me. And I'm finding a lot of positive response to that. Um, but one thing you'll notice that's very different on our pages is a lot of my views are coming from non-followers right now. And a lot of Stephanie's views are coming from her followers. My page is in a discovery mode right now because I've recently started re-interacting with my page. So right now, Facebook is showing me to new potential followers. Stephanie is in a very good place with her page right now. She's having a lot of returning views. So we where our views are coming from are different. You'll also see that I have a lot of unfollows right now. Again, I'll address that later. It looks bad here, but there's actually a very good reason why I have that on my page. It's not that a lot of people suddenly disliked me. So don't think that. Um, Bet asked another question here. Are publishers okay with authors releasing snippets of the book? So we do actually address that specifically later in here. She says, I've seen a lot of posts on Instagram about a page of a book highlighted with music and background. Yeah, we do have a specific snippet where we will talk about that. So I'm not going to apologize, Bet. I'm not going to answer your question yet because I'm gonna that'll spoil our own slide. So we're gonna keep going. That's okay, don't worry about it. It's a good question. It is a good question, but it is a little blurb in here that specifically addresses that. And if you have any additional questions after that, we can talk about it.
Okay. Now that we've looked at the dashboard and some of the information you can get from it, let's talk about a tool that you can make managing social media even easier, which is the Meta Business Suite. If you're managing both Facebook and Instagram, this is really useful place to have everything in one spot. You can create and schedule content, check your insights, manage messages and comments, and see what's coming up on your content calendar for both platforms. The Business Suite also gives you goals and recommendations based on your activity. These can be useful because they give you some direction when you're not sure what to focus on next. Uh, I wouldn't think of them as a magic checklist that guarantees Facebook will push your content, but they can encourage you to stay active, try different features, and build consistent habits, all of which can help you learn what works best for your audience. You don't have to use every feature right away. The goal here is to just introduce you to what's available so you know where to look when you're ready to make social media a little more organized and a little less chaotic. And then these are just kind of examples of what the business suite looks like between the two of us. probably really overwhelming because sometimes I still look at these and I'm like, "What am I looking at?" But
Oh, exactly. But if you look
eventually you
here,
just
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't
oh,
mean to interrupt
go
you.
ahead.
I just
No,
wanted
you
to
go
point
ahead.
out specifically on the right here, it's hard to see it, but the top example, do you see how mine says from followers 7.6%, from non-followers 92.4, and then on the bottom, this is yours. From followers 38%, from non-followers 61%. So it shows that you're getting a lot of repeat followers coming back to your page, whereas I'm not. And I have to figure that out because I'm getting thousands of views on my posts, like 2.4, 4.4 thousands of views, but nobody's coming back. So that's where my page is at right now. I'm getting new views, but not repeat views. You're getting repeat views. Your page is healthier than mine. So you're in a better spot right now. You're doing it right. So we're in we're in different places right now, and I'm
Right.
envious. Keep going. Sorry.
I think this is your slide.
Yes, I believe so. So this is more of just the professional dashboard. You can click and bring up the
The business
couple.
suite.
Oh, yes, the business suite. Yes, sorry, I still get them confused. There's two of them. So scheduling ahead can be a huge time saver, but don't get too caught up in everyone telling you there's a magical time you have to post. Look at your own insights, try different times, and see what actually works for you. And remember, more isn't always better. You don't have to schedule 47 posts a week just because you can. Use scheduling to make your life easier, not to completely automate your social media and forget you have an account. So, one thing that I want to start personally using more is the Meta Suite to do my posts. So this one down here with the octopus, it's blurry and kind of hard to see here, but it lets you preview the post as you do it. You can select
I
all of
do
the
like that
options
feature.
here. Yeah, it's you can do this directly from your page, but if you do it from the Meta Suite, you can post it to Facebook and Instagram at the same time. You can schedule it to post in advance. You can schedule it to post at different times to Facebook and Instagram. You can see a preview of what the post will look like. You can manage your comments in here, which I have found to be very helpful because the little notification bar on Facebook has not been showing me all of my comments. You can see here that two of these, it looks like I haven't viewed them yet because the notification drop down in Facebook decided I did not need to see them. Sometimes I'll pop into my Meta Suite and I have missed comments from people because Facebook's notification system decided I didn't need to see them. So if I go in here, I can see all of my comments and it's helping me better keep up with people that are replying to me. Um, and then this big calendar, this is from Stephanie's page. She is planning out her posts in advance so that she doesn't have to spend every day on her page making sure that something is going up. She can spend an hour on one day. It's probably more than that, Stephanie. I apologize if I'm simplifying your life too much. But she can spend a dedicated day to plan out her posts for the month. And then, she can add and take away as needed. But now she doesn't have to spend every single day stressing to make sure that she has something going out. Her page will stay updated. She will look active every day of July, even if she's not. She can go on vacation and something will still post on her page. It's very, very helpful.
Yes. So I do this and then uh basically when I check in every day, I'm just um responding to comments, and if there is something that I want to add or I think of something fresh and new, then I just go and add it and I kind of just put it at different time slots that seem to work best for me. And then uh let's see. I kind of lost my train of thought. Oh, there's an option on the side that will give you like you could put goals. So I made myself a goal to try to reach a certain, Facebook reach um, by mid-August. Um, I didn't show an example, but it says like moments up here, and it shows like last week I think it was like National Emoji Day or whatever, and so I made on Canva a little video clip and did a hashtag for that just to see if it would, help views, and I got some views from it, so it doesn't hurt to play into, the games of social media sometimes.
We have a couple other good questions here in the chat that I want to address. Kat
Yes.
asked, do the followers get your own pics so they know how you look like? Is that necessary? So this goes back to a little bit about what we talked with the author persona. It's important to decide that early on. So I have switched my personal picture over to something that looks more like me now. It's still modified, but in the beginning, I used a completely animated digital version of Serena Faye. It was based on me. So you do not have to use your real name. You do not have to use a real picture of yourself. This is not required, especially if you want to create an author persona. Now, a lot of authors do ultimately end up using a real picture of themselves, especially depending on the genre that you're writing. But if you're writing in the fantasy space, especially for social media, it's not required. You do not have to ever reveal a single real thing about yourself if you don't want to. Especially social media, people are used to that, and stick with it. Create your don't lie because it's the authenticity of yourselves coming through is still going to be resonating with people, but you can definitely create an author persona based off of yourself. Serena Faye, I think I said this in the beginning, is almost entirely me. But there are things that are curated on my social media page specifically to be Serena Faye, the pastel magic, the cuteness, it's done on purpose. Um, Woman asks if Facebook will let you be anonymous to an extent, yeah, with the author persona. You don't have to. You can have your personal page and then your author page, which I do have as well. I have a personal page under my real name and my author page under Serena Faye. I have control of both of them, but they are technically different. I have shared posts back and forth with them so people could connect it. But if I didn't do that, if I never told anybody, there would be, no connection outside of Facebook itself knowing that the posts are connected. If you do want to monetize, you have to connect them and provide your real information to Facebook. But otherwise, no, you never have to truly reveal who you are. Let me see.
I also want to add, like on your like about page for your author page, you can control a lot of what you can put on there. Like it will ask you or tell you like, oh, put your like city or your email address or your telephone number. You don't have to put any of that information. You can leave all that kind of stuff blank. You could, customize all that stuff as well.
I have an
To
email
keep
that's just for writing too. I have serenafaybooks@gmail.com that I created just for this. And I
Yes,
don't have my phone number on my Facebook page, like my Serena Faye Facebook page. Um, so there's definitely ways to create an entirely different, not identity, because Facebook still knows who you are in the end, but persona. That's why it's important to decide in the beginning, because if you start on your personal real page, it becomes very hard to separate it.
yes.
Okay. So, and that kind of then, there's a learning curve with social media. And part of that's learning which numbers actually matter. It's easy to see 100 likes and think, oh my gosh, great, that worked. But what if another post only gets 20 likes, reaches 2,000 people, gets shared 15 times, and then also sends 30 people to your website? Well, that second post is actually doing a lot more for you. And then there are the common mistakes: only posting when you're selling something, disappearing for months at a time, ignoring the people who actually interact with you, and waiting for everything to be perfect. You're allowed to figure this out as you go. The biggest thing is to actually start.
The question isn't really what's the most popular platform right now. It's where are the people who actually want to read my books? People move between platforms all the time. Uh, Someone might find you on Facebook, follow you on Instagram, and discover your TikTok 6 months later. Facebook can also be a good stepping stone if you're new to social media. Once you're comfortable creating content, scheduling posts, looking at insights, and interacting with people, those basic skills carry over to other platforms. You don't have to master everything at once. Start somewhere, get comfortable, and then branch out when it starts to make sense for you.
Oh, you skipped my fun fact.
No, sorry. Fun fact, we're millennials and we're old.
Yeah, I don't know if she read out those demographics there. It said that basically the demographics on Facebook now are mostly people in their 30s and 40s, which is, spoiler alert, millennials, we're old. So Facebook has changed in recent years. You know, it's not trendy. Yeah, I know. I beg your biggest pardon as well, Kat, but it's true. Um, Facebook isn't, we'll talk more about some of the trendier social media further down, but Facebook is for the middle-aged generation now. So, I believe this next slide is also, this next few sections is Stephanie.
Yes. Okay, we're going to move on to Instagram. So Instagram is visual, but you don't need an entirely separate content strategy. A lot of what you're already creating can work here too. And here's the part that can save you a lot of time. Facebook and Instagram can work together. And honestly, in my opinion, they should work together. Take advantage of Business Suite and the connection between the two platforms. You could share content across both, like posting an Instagram story and having it shared to your Facebook story at the same time. So you don't always have to think, now I need to create something completely different for Instagram. Start with one piece of content and figure out where else it makes sense to use it. Instagram also gives you plenty of ways to bring readers into your writing world, whether that's through character art, sneak peeks, world building, writing updates, or quick behind the scene moments. Another thing I love about Business Suite is that you can manage your interactions there too, as Serena mentioned. You can see comments from both Facebook and Instagram and reply without constantly bouncing back and forth between apps. You could even comment on posts through the Business Suite. It's one more way to save yourself a little time and energy, which as authors, we can definitely use more time for. Um, these tools can help you get your content in front of the right people. Hashtags help with discovery, tags and mentions help you connect with specific people, businesses, and organizations. And you can choose the content format that fits what you're sharing. A quick update might be a story, a cover reveal might be a post, a series of tips might be a carousel. You don't need to use every option, just choose what makes sense for what you're trying to share at that time. One way to think of these numbers is as a funnel. Someone sees your content, maybe interacts with it, visits your profile, follows you, and eventually uh, clicks through to your book. And that's important because there are so many books competing for a spot on someone's TBR. So, what is it about your book that makes someone stop scrolling? What makes them curious enough to click? What makes them remember you? You don't need every post to sell a book. A funny reel might just get someone to notice you. A character post might make them follow, and eventually something else might make them click on your book. So when you're looking at your insights, think about where your content is moving people and whether you're giving them a reason to take that next step. So obviously we don't have all day to go through every social media platform that exists. We'd be here until next Tuesday. There are a lot of other platforms out there and they all have different strengths. We'd love to do more workshops in the future where we can dive deeper into some of these, especially as we learn more ourselves. So if you're familiar with any of these, please reach out. We'd love to learn from you and explore how we can use these platforms for the writer's room. And please don't look at this list and think, great, I now need 16 social media accounts. You absolutely do not.
So this
Okay.
is really just about getting more mileage out of the ideas you already have. You don't need to create something completely new for every platform. Start with one idea and then think about how you can adapt it into different formats. One idea can become a post, a video, a graphic, a discussion, or a newsletter. You're not creating 6 times the content, you're just giving one good idea more than one chance to reach people. So you could, in theory, take one idea and turn it into all of these different things. So maybe it's a writing tip, a book quote, a character, a behind the scenes moment. It doesn't matter. You could do a Facebook post, share the idea, invite conversation, an Instagram post, turn it into a picture, a reel or a TikTok, talk about it on camera if you're comfortable with that, or even just use CapCut and create a video with pictures. Pinterest post. I don't personally know a lot about Pinterest, but pin it. A discussion on your group on Facebook, or if you're in a Discord community, a newsletter if you have a newsletter. So, and on the right side, there's an actual example of how you can do that. Different platforms will bring different viewers. So, if you are comfortable getting on different kinds of social media, you can bring in different viewers that way. Okay, Stephanie?
Okay. I think I deleted the wrong post earlier today.
That's
Give
okay.
yourself some boundaries too. Social media can very easily eat up an entire afternoon if you let it. And if you're someone who tends to hyperfixate, you know exactly what I mean. You sit down to make one post and suddenly you're 3 hours in because you decided you need to redo your bio, redesign your graphics, learn how to make reels, and completely reorganize your content strategy. Or maybe that's just me. Set a timer, check in, respond to people, create what you need to create, and then get back to your actual writing. Social media is supposed to support your writing career, not completely steal your entire writing day. And
So go ahead.
then, yes. Oh, you can go ahead with the side note if you would like.
Okay. So this little side note here, someone asked about this, and I want to make sure we address it. It is not recommended to share direct quotes and snippets from your actual book if you plan to traditionally publish, as some publishers may consider this a form of publishing. You can use deleted scenes or other writing samples to promote yourself. Some additional research on this topic is recommended if this applies to you. Now, if you plan to self publish, post whatever you want. It's your story, do whatever you want. Now, you don't want to be giving away entire chapters for free. And do be mindful about people stealing your story. This does unfortunately actually happen. And I will talk about some scams further down below. We're going to get to that. I'm excited about that section. But traditionally published is where you have to be more mindful of this. And definitely do your own research. There is Probably some controversy on what counts and what doesn't count. You see a lot of people posting a lot of stuff on social media, whether they know or not that it could get them into hot water with a future agent and publisher. I don't know. But I have been told from a relatively good source in the publishing community that if you post direct quotes and snippets from a book that you want to publish, it can hurt your publishing chances. So do be mindful of that. Um, and I do highly recommend you research it on your own as well. So just keep that in mind.
I do want to add, as a reader of a lot of indie books, I've read a lot of quotes from indie authors that have driven me to pick up their books, and I have fallen in love with so many of them. So those who do self-publish, it does work from my point of view. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good. Mm, this one's you, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah. Looking ahead, the biggest skill you're going to need is adapting. Social media is going to keep changing. New platforms will pop up, algorithms will change, and the things that work today might not work the same way 5 years from now, or
Hold on,
even
wait.
probably six.
What
Oh,
slide are we on? Because we just skipped slides 23 to 28.
uh, maybe. Oh, no, I accidentally just scrolled down too far. Sorry. I scrolled too far down in my notes. My bad. Thank you for catching up. Sorry. Give yourself some boundaries too. Social media can very easily. No, I already said that.
That's okay. So we'll
Hmm.
just talk about this. I'll just talk about this slide. No big deal. So staying
Okay.
on top of social media without burning out. So it's very easy to, you know, get too much into it, obsess over the numbers, constantly stare at it. And I think this is probably where the notes that Stephanie had were meant to go. I think we didn't have notes on that previous slide. I think the notes just got a little mixed up. So just be mindful. Don't suck yourself into it. Don't obsess. Step away if you need to. Some people on social media can be very toxic. Don't let them tear you down. It's meant to be a tool, not your life. Go ahead and click. Yeah. Oh, that was one too many, but that's okay. Social media is a
Okay.
tool, not your career. And then this is my section that I have specifically been, hey,
Did I go too far?
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
that's okay.
I don't know how to,
Don't
I don't know how to go
don't
back on
that's okay. Just don't
slides.
click don't click again.
Okay,
So,
you tell me what to click.
okay. Spam, scams, ugh. So how do I stop the DMs? First, let's talk about that. When you first get, especially this is all based on Facebook because that's what I use, okay? When you first get Facebook, the DMs are going to skyrocket, okay? How do I stop them? It's really simple. Stop replying. Seriously, just stop. It's very tempting to want to reply, whether you don't realize that they're scams or whether you do know they're scams and you think it's funny and you want to mess with them. Don't mess with them. Don't waste their time. Just don't. Okay. So this first screenshot here is when I first got my Facebook about a month's time. I got over 100 messages. Okay. And the next screenshot is I started realizing because at first I was replying to them, right? I didn't realize. I thought they were real people. I was trying to have conversations with them, and it started seeming off. They always wanted to sell me something. It was weird. So I stopped replying to a lot of them, and then you can see the conversation started to go down. They started to get more sporadic. And then my next screenshot, even more so. Now this is from March to May. A lot less. 81% decline. And then my last screenshot, The last 14 days when I took this, from July 9th to July 22nd, only 2 messages. I don't reply to them at all. Never. Unless it is from clearly a legitimate person, which to be honest with you, I haven't had a legitimate person probably since Mab invited me to this community in February. I don't reply. And the amount of messages I get, way down. Um, and if you don't even want the option to allow people to message you, I'm fairly certain you can even just shut that off completely. I leave
I
it
shut
on. Yeah, Stephanie shut hers off. I leave it on the off chance that a real person does actually want to speak to me, but so far it's not even happening. And that one reoccurring message, I think I actually have that one in an example later. You'll see it. But yeah, it's just stop replying. If you don't interact with them, they stop messaging you. The signals don't go back to them that you're an active account, and they stop going. So let's go to our next slide. Okay, so scammer. Don't fall for it. Know the signs. Scamming on Facebook is huge. It is probably one of the biggest reasons I would tell people not to get a Facebook, but there's a lot of benefits to it too. You just have to be aware. So, professionals who reach out to you first are almost always a scam. Beware. Do not trust editors, publishers, promoters, etc., who engage you with you first. If they are sending you messages filled with flattery, do not let them take you in. Always verify contacts through a valid source. Go directly to a publisher's website and email them if you're suspicious. Do not respond to comments and DMs asking about your books, covers, etc. without looking at their profile first. You do not need their cinematic trailer. I promise. Okay, click.
Yes, because you can make your own cinematic trailer.
You can. You can. So, okay, this is a pretty big checklist. So, for the first side, we have probably fake or not a genuine follower. Block them. No profile picture account is hidden. From a country you do not advertise to or posts almost exclusively in a language you do not speak to or market to. No posts on their page. No about me. Profile page was created recently. Tons of followers, and all of them seem very random. Poor quality content unrelated to your writing or art. A service or page totally unrelated to writing that you don't know or already follow, farms, health, cleaning services, pages that promise to promote you, edit for you, or publish you. So, little note here, this is not always an indicator of a fake or disingenuous account. However, other factors will often appear, such as high following count, random posts, they never interact with your page, etc. Be aware and mindful. So, probably real, engage, follow them back. They have a profile picture, even if it's not of an actual person. It may be AI modified, it may be a symbol, a cartoon character. It doesn't have to be a real person like face. Again, author persona. Posts regularly, especially actual content and not just always sharing posts. Their profile and page has been around for a while. The About Me and other profile details are filled out. The actual follower and friend count itself isn't specifically important, but sometimes if an account has 6K pages that they're following, it can mean they simply follow everyone. Look for people who follow others who make sense, other writers, artists, regular seeming people. Most importantly, people who interact with you, real people, your fans. So, aren't more followers better? No, not always. This is another common misconception. The quality of your community matters way more than the quantity. In fact, too many followers who don't interact with your page can actually hurt your reach to people who legitimately may want to see you. Facebook may consider your page to be underperforming on views and engagement based on your follower count, and it will lower your recommendability to potential new followers. So I want to say here specifically that all images used are used only as examples of potential suspect activity. No accusations of any kind are made towards any individual or page. I use these screenshots just as examples of what could possibly be a suspicious page. And I'll go over why. So, my first example here, this person has 6,000 followers, 804 following, and their profile says they're a writer. In fact, you can see here, I was even following them. But I went through and I looked at their actual posts, and it was all just reshares of completely random nonsense. They never interacted with a single post that I had. And when I looked at all of their followers, it was all just totally random pages. So they were not actually a real person. They had marked themselves as a writer. And when I actually looked a little bit deeper into it, total fake page. This next one, their page says they're a grocery store. They were located in a completely different country from where I tend to market. None of their posts were in a language that I market to. They've never interacted with me. All of their following was from completely random pages. Now, is it possible that in whatever country they are located in, they're a legitimate page? Totally, definitely possible. But for my page, they were not being beneficial to my interactions and my recommendability. So I did block them. This next example I screenshotted just because this was all of the content that they shared. Also, they never interacted with me. They had nothing to do with writing. None of their followers were related to me. Um, Chance of them being a legitimate fan of my writing, extremely very low. They they did not live in a country I marketed to. They did not speak a language that I marketed to. Now, is it possible they could have been a fan? Yes, but again, based on all of the factors, very, very low. And since they never interacted with me, it brings my recommendability down because it Facebook sees that I have all of these people following me. They don't interact with me. It must be my content is not interesting. Again, to the next one, this could be a legitimate lawn service in the UK. I'm located in America. They're following me, they don't interact with me. Again, it makes my page seem like it's underperforming. So I also blocked them. The only way to get rid of a follower who is following your page that you don't want to follow you is to block them. This last one, no profile picture, the about me, everything was blank. They are following a ton of people. Also, a ton of people are following them back. Very mind boggling. Their page, just nonsense. I also blocked them as well. So these are some examples that you may see. I choose to block them, which is why I have a significantly lower follower count. I have blocked 600 pages that follow me because I prune my followers. Um, you'll see that's why I had negative 188 followers in one particular day because I went through. I have since taken other steps that I will talk about here that will now help this from happening on my page. We can go to yes, trimming the follower bushes. I'm going to talk now about some built-in Facebook features that I have now added to my page, which should help reduce the amount of manual pruning that I need to do. So your professional dashboard can help. If you go into your tools and your moderation assist, you can have auto hide on comments. I specifically chose the author does not have any friends or followers, and the author does not have a profile picture. So if you have not even taken the time yet to set up a profile picture, I'm sorry, you're probably a bot and I don't want you commenting on anything that I've posted because typically those just end up being sales ads. A more strict option, you can limit your page from specific countries. Do so with caution. You can then limit your page to legitimate readers. A friend of mine reached out to me and told me that by doing so, he would have blocked himself off to several people in countries that he has had legitimate sales and legitimate conversations with from countries that do tend to be highly known for scams. I am not going to specifically call out any of those countries in this conversation. I don't want it to be about that. There are good people from all places. We all know that. Yes, there are specific places that do tend to be higher from the certain countries with scams. Just notice patterns with bots and scammers. If you notice that for your particular page, you may want to consider that an option. In my case, I did notice that almost all of the accounts that I was blocking were coming from a very specific area. So I did take the option to go ahead and block that particular location from viewing my page. I do so sadly, as I do not want to lose the readership from that area, but I have blocked 5 to 600 accounts and I don't market to that area at this time. My reach is not big enough to be marketing to that area. So I have made that decision for my page. Okay, next. Now I click slowly here. Click slowly.
Okay.
I
Sorry.
I'm going to show you a lot of examples. So, this is a DM that I got. This is a very flattery filled DM. You know, you can skim through that here. This is a scammer. You know, she's telling me that she loves my book and she wants to do some different things here with me. And then she followed up with me from October of 2025. I didn't answer her. And then again, May of 2026. How am I doing? So I go to her page. She only has 2 friends, nothing filled in. I'm not replying to this person. She looks real enough, though, doesn't she? Clara Winslow, that sure looks real. But, you know, she is definitely trying to sell me something. Do not reply to these people. They are, if you reply, they're going to lure you in to sell you something. Next, one click. I hid this comment. Have you considered a book trailer? Don't reply to this either, even just to tell them no thank you, because when you reply, you'll get more. One click. Ah, here's another one filled with so much flattery. They love me. Don't reply. Let it fill your ego if you want to, but this is not a real person. If you reply, they're going to try to sell you something. Next. This is an email that I got. They want to talk to me about Goodreads and they want to review my book, I believe, for me, and something about Listopedia. Whatever it is, you can check out like the email it came from. You know, I don't need their services. Why? I would have contacted them if I wanted their services. Next.
Oops, sorry.
That's okay.
My finger
The
slipped.
That's okay. The one that came up first was similar. My book's visibility. I don't need their services. Oh, another book trailer. I don't need their services either. Keep going. Ah, this one. So I stole this from Oliver's email, and this is a completely different kind of scam, but also a scam. So don't click this link. Do you see where so it looks very real. It's Facebook and it's a security alert. But when you look a little deeper, it came from this weird email address with a copy to, and it told me that a new login has come from a device here in India. Was this you? Please do not ever click this. If you ever see anything like this, take a little bit further look down into where this email came from. If it's not coming directly from some sort of official Facebook, do not ever, 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 ever click this. This goes for a general scam in general. Please look deeper. Okay, next. Oh, here, this one. Look how real this looks. I got this from the internet because unfortunately I had cleared out all my scam emails and I didn't have an example that came from me. This looks so real. This is allegedly from Susanna Porter, the vice president and executive editor at Random House. How good would you feel getting this email? They want your book. But what are the chances that Random House is going to reach out to you? All right, the first clue here, this is from a Gmail. Random House is going to have their own email, okay? If you ever get an email like this and you are at all questioning if it could be real, go to Random House, their website directly, find the contact information provided through Random House for this person, because this is a real person through Random House. I guarantee you this is. So if you were to just go to Random House, you would see, oh yeah, Susanna Porter does work. Find her contact information through Random House, message her. Say, hey, someone just messaged me and said you're interested in my book. Unfortunately, if you even get a response back, she's going to tell you, no, I'm sorry, that was a scam. Do not reply to this person. Do not send them your book. Because like they are going to then feed you into somebody else. It's ultimately going to come down to some sort of scheme about you sending them money. Your book's going to need edits. Your book's going to need a cover. Whatever it is, it's going to end with you sending them money. If you reply to somebody and they send you some sort of link to send them money, stop. Stop immediately. Nothing in publishing, especially traditional publishing, should require you to send money up front. Next. Yes, vanity publishing. Don't ever send money to somebody to publish for you. Self-publishing does not cost you money. Traditional publishing does not cost you money. You can self-publish for free. Traditional publishing, they should pay you. Do not ever pay money to publish. Next, this is another example. Holy crap, Suzanne Collins, the writer of The Hunger Games, has emailed you. Except why would she email you from a Gmail? And why would she act like she's an author that nobody's ever heard about? Also, she's a little busy to just be emailing random authors. Also not real. A lot of these scammers will pretend to be very famous people to flatter you. That's their goal. Flatter you, make you feel important, make you feel special. Unfortunately, for a lot of indie authors who are struggling, it works. They hit them in their insecurities and they get them. They make them feel like it's their moment, it's their breakout, it's their chance. Don't be the person that lets your insecurities override your senses that are telling you that something is wrong. I think I have a couple, at least one or two more here. Ah, just some DMs that I found online. This was a multi-level scam. The clue in this one was that this person had more than one agent. This scam here, they're all the same person. They will tell you that they can connect you to their agent. They'll connect you to their agent. It's the same person. Their agent will then connect you to their publisher and their editor. They're all the same person. They will ask you for money to do the editing, to do the publishing, to create the covers, all the same person. And you just funnel them money. Sometimes they will actually, quote, publish for you through like KDP, but it's not a good job. Next. I think this one might be my last one. Yes, this is also a scam that looks very, very real. So Mocha Girls Read Harlem, from my understanding, is a real book club. You get these book club scams. They're real book clubs. They look real. And you're like, oh, cool. That's so cool. This is a real book club. But then you'll agree to it. And then they'll tell you, okay, well, we need you to send a cover charge for our reviewers. We pay them all $25 each to review. Or we're having a real life meetup and we just ask that our authors send $20 per person to cover snacks or to cover blah, blah, blah expenses. And you think, well, that doesn't sound unreasonable. It's a scam. Don't do it. Don't send them money. There are, you know, review readers and stuff out there. You don't send them money for that.
Oops, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. And then I don't know what slide number this is, so I think this might be back to you.
I think so too. Now I could go back to the one I was trying to read earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Looking ahead, the biggest skill you're going to need is adapting. Social media is going to keep changing. New platforms will pop up, algorithms will change, and the things that work today might not work the same way 5 years from now. You don't have to predict every change or master every new platform immediately. You just need to be willing to adapt, learn, and adjust your strategy as things change. The platforms will change, the tools will change. Being able to adapt is what keeps you from having to start over every time they do. and then basically you guys can read. I was always taught not to read off the slides and just speak, and plus we're really, really over our time by a lot. Okay. The biggest takeaway here isn't memorizing every demographic on every platform. It's knowing your own book and your own audience, know your genre, know your tropes, know what makes your book different, know the world you're building and the readers who are going to love it, and just as importantly, know yourself. Figure out where you naturally fit and where you actually enjoy showing up. That's going to make your social media much easier to manage. The biggest thing is to find the tools that solve an actual problem for you. If Canva does everything you need for graphics, you don't need to find five other design apps. If Meta Business Suite handles your Facebook and Instagram scheduling, start there. You can always add tools later as you figure out what you actually need. The goal isn't to collect apps, it's just to make your author life easier. But these are some other options to explore, and if you already familiar with any of them, let us know. Sharing what we know with each other is a huge part of building a strong community and helping each other succeed. Oh, I think I messed up my order of notes here again. So what I just read goes to this slide.
Okay,
And now
so
there's Serena.
yep. So just, take a deep breath. Um, Here's my little snippet again about not sharing direct quotes, but don't try to be everywhere. Just remember your brand, what you want to share, remember who you are. Start with one platform, master it before expanding. And just, we're not experts. This presentation is just based on what we've learned, what we've experienced, and what's working for us. We are also still learning. We can take any questions you guys have now. If you have anything that you'd like to share, we can also hear that, and we can come back with a part two. If you guys feel like we need a part two, we're still, like I said, we're still learning. So let us know if we've helped you. If you have any questions, it's open to you guys now. That was what we had for you. Thank you. LK says we definitely need a part two. So
Yeah.
if you guys found this helpful, I'm glad. Let us know what you guys would want to see in a part two, where we could dive deeper. Um, I feel like one
And
thing
what
we
we should
didn't
do
talk about that we could have was hashtags. I realized as we were going through, we didn't talk at all about hashtags. That's a big part of social media. The
social media.
presentation should get posted on YouTube, so long as
Yeah.
everything recorded correctly. But we could also probably just send people the actual
Oh,
presentation.
absolutely. Social media is so broad, it was hard to narrow it down to exactly what to focus on at first. So it needs to just be a really big, long series that just never ends.
Yes. T-Rex wants to know if there are legitimate author services out there. That is definitely more difficult. There's a lot more fake ones than there are legitimate. We have a lot of legitimate services right here on our own Discord. Mav himself, our main, leader here, has editing services. Not just him
Hmm.
either. Some of our other leadership offers editing services, dev services. It's not. We also have Mythopedia Media, which is just getting off the ground. It's not a direct, elevator system. You still have to query through him, but he has some services that he could offer through publishing if you meet his criteria. So there's a lot of legitimate services there. Um,
And over time, you're gonna like get to know these people through your social media and and yeah, just discover by networking just as much as you are going to learn or find your readership as well, which is just as important, in my opinion.
LK says, what I want to know when it comes to social media and writing is how to be consistent when it comes to posting. I have a hard time with appearing consistent when really I've been working on posts and stories.
That's where
Being
your
consistent.
business suite is gonna really help you out. If you go the Facebook, Instagram route first, the business suite, like just to make it easier to remember, just the first day of the month is the day that you post a whole bunch of stuff, and that will help you at least start with some consistency.
And I see a lot of the people that I follow come up with repeatable ideas. Like Stephanie
And that
does it.
helps. Yeah. And I'm willing to help anyone come up with those concepts and ideas because I love doing that kind of stuff and helping people with that. So if you want to
Yeah.
DM me, I can help you guys come up with those type of ideas. Like I'd be happy to do that.
Fun fact Fridays are a big one I see. A lot of people like to do like a word of the week. They'll define a word, even if it's not necessarily from their story. It can be related to their world or their author brand in general. A behind the scenes look once a week, what I'm working on, not necessarily, again, a specific detail, but I'm working on this new character this week, and you just give like a little snippet. Like so it's themed, so you don't have to necessarily have a new idea every week. And then in between that, you can post the random ideas that come to you.
Yeah, like I've done one where I do like fan letter Friday and I kind of change them up. Like I've written them where they're fan letters to other authors and I write them fun and kind of like almost like stalker like and that's just part of my brand and my princess brand, which is borderline unhinged at times. But anyways, and then I've also posted the fan letter Fridays where you write a fan letter to your main character or one of your characters. And it's fun to read how authors write letters to their fans. And I think I had it last week where someone wrote their letter to their fan. And from that, I just wanted to immediately read their book just based off of how they wrote their letter. So little things like that are
Yeah,
sometimes a good to
Stephanie gets a
introduce a
lot
book.
of in Stephanie gets a lot of engagement on some of her silly ones as well. She does pretty regularly, like a auto completion one where she'll start a sentence and then she asks you to let your phone complete the sentence. And she
Oh
also
yeah.
does her weekly, what she calls engagement wars, which is where she playfully pits us all against each other to see who can be the most active on her page. I'm in like my fourth week, I think, of being the most active. So I'm
Oh, I should
currently
see
winning.
where you at
It
where you
yes,
are at today. I haven't looked.
yes,
I will check right now.
I think it is the announcement week for Engagement Wars. So it's like a fun, playful thing. And, it lets people know that they are interacting with her page. But she gets a lot of positive response from that.
Oh
Uh,
no, you dropped down to second place.
oh, no. And we had to tell everybody that live on the feed today. So,
Yeah,
um,
but Phoenix is in third place.
but yeah, so some of it is just coming up with repeatable ideas too. And then posting the sporadic ideas in between that. Right now, my page is a lot of sporadic ideas because I dropped the ball for a long time and I don't know what I'm doing with my page right now. But that's why Stephanie has a lot more returning viewers than I do, I think. Are there any other specific questions right now before we wrap it up? Because we are technically over our we got a delayed start, but we are technically over our time. And thank you so much for everybody for sticking with us through all the technical difficulties. I'm glad it seems like we were able to get some good information out there. A podcast series. I want to do a podcast series so bad. You want information on one, or do you want somebody to do one?
Oh,
Somebody said in the comments a podcast series. Do one.
that would
Okay,
probably
somebody
be
needs.
a better way of doing it than a workshop.
T Rex wants to do a world building podcast. That would be fun.
That would be fun. That would probably be, yeah.
I tried to get a podcast off the ground, with me being one of the co-hosts, but it did not fully work out. So if there is anybody that is serious about putting a podcast together with me, please DM me. I am most serious about that. I would just need at least one co-host who would be serious about that.
I cannot take on any more activities.
All right, guys. Well, I think then we will go ahead and call it before we get too distracted on other topics. But that was amazing. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here.
Yes,
Look forward to part two. Send us your questions and what we can help you with for part two.
yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.